Hello, my name is Jake.
Hello, my name's Ewan, and today we're going to be discussing our observations.
Right. So, first of all, Ewan, how would you say your first observation went?
Personally, I'd say my first observation went okay. Could have done better because at first I was really nervous because it was my first time teaching someone remotely. So basically, I was doing these drills with him and I was recording it and I wanted to look back on it. So every sort of drill I done, I look back on it and see if I could improve on that.
Yeah.
But it just kept getting more. I kept getting more nervous and just couldn't get it done properly.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Right, so second question. What was your strength in the video? Like, what would you say your strengths are? Like performance or
Um,
communication?
I'd say my organization was good because I got dumbbells for cones instead of because I couldn't get cones because my ones were broke and they were not safe to use. My but I got 4 dumbbells and I used them to make like this like cones, so
Yeah.
they go in and out and then you'd shoot.
Yeah.
So at my first observation was around shooting, and we had this bucket full of sand to act like this goalkeeper because
right.
we were only allowed to use 2 and we had to stay 2 meters apart due to COVID. But we had to stay. But we used this thing, and we used this bucket, and I gave minus points if you hit it because the keeper would save it, so it'd be no goal. But if you miss the target, it'd be 0 points. Hit the target in the middle, it'd be 1 point. Bottom corner would be 2 points, and top corner would be 3 points. And then I calculate his score at the end of the session to see how well he done.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk about your strengths and how well you did.
Yeah.
So how could you say improved? Like, what were your weaknesses in the first video?
I think, well, obviously it was my first time, so it was a bit nerve-wracking. But I'd say my communication was not so good because you can see in the video where I was stuttering, I wasn't like communicating well to the participant, and I just think I could have done it a bit better.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we talked about your strengths, talked about your weaknesses, but overall, did you manage to achieve your goal? Like, what was your goal
My goal
for the
was
session?
to teach the participant how to shoot and hit the corners, like because hitting the corners is the most important part of shooting, in my opinion, because if you hit the corners, it's less chance of the goalkeeper saving it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that in the mindset of the participant that hitting the corners is a more likely chance of scoring a goal. And yeah, I just thought that was the best way to put it. I thought I did achieve that while the video was going.
Lovely, great. So how could you improve overall? So like your session, your skills, your presentation. How could you improve your session?
I think I should get involved more because I thought I was just standing on the side, just doing nothing, just watching,
Yeah.
and like just encouraging him, which is good. But I felt like I could have done a bit more, you know.
Get more involved.
Yeah, get more involved. Yeah.
Right. So where could you do better? So like, could you do better communication? Like you've said how you could improve, but how could you like make it better?
Making it better, I probably practice more for starters. Instead of going straight into it, I'd go into a practice and then see if the session would work, how it developed. But yeah,
How it played out.
yeah, how it played out. Yeah.
Right, okay. So clearly, you have some pointers on the session, and you can see how well you did. But would you say your participant enjoyed the session and how it went and what he did?
Yeah,
Or she?
I think he enjoyed the session because he's a striker, and I knew that because I've seen him play at striker before, and I thought this session was perfectly involved around him, and I thought that this is what this is how we could improve his shooting, and I thought that he really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Right. So has any of your skills improved since doing the session? So, such as more confidence or more leadership, anything?
My confidence is better, I thought. Like you could see in the second video after my first one, I was more involved. I was enjoying it more, really, because obviously the first one was nerve-wracking. But yeah, after the first one was done, I started to look back and see what I can improve on, and just started to enjoy it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you some questions now.
Okay.
So for your first observation, did you communicate well enough with your participant?
I feel like I did, but the only problem was it was mostly behind the scenes. So basically, you would have a look how the skill played out. So he did it, see how well the skill played out.
Yeah.
I talked to him about what he could have done, what they could have, but it wasn't on camera. That's the only problem.
Right.
It was. I didn't show it, but it was there.
Okay, fair enough. Could you improve on any of the drills you've done? What was the observation, though? What drills were you specifically looking at?
Well, I was looking to improve their passing. But most of the drills are fairly easy.
Right. Okay.
Which it should be for the first observation. But
yeah.
I don't really feel like they really got harder, got more intense. I feel like I kind of kept it the same pace. It was a snowy day.
So the weather conditions weren't
weren't that good. Yeah. So we couldn't really throw long passes, like really long passes, but we did what we could. And yeah, I think I could have utilised maybe the snow a bit more.
What do you think you could have done?
Yeah.
What do you think you could have done with the snow?
So in the first video, you could see me making an X on the floor, making a mark on the floor.
Yeah.
With my foot to show where the participant should go. But I should have done that for more of the drills.
Right. Okay.
So I should have utilised the snow, utilised what's around me really, just make marks and help the participant out.
Okay, that's fair enough. Do you think you could have increased or decreased the duration of the session?
I think I could have. Well, I don't know really, because I could have definitely fit more skills and more exercises in for the amount of time we did it for. So I could have probably decreased it because we spent way too long on the pass, and I gotta admit that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could have definitely decreased it, fit a lot more sessions in.
Yeah.
Or kept it the same and fit more sessions in, but exercises in. But yeah.
Fair enough.
It was good overall.
Who would you recommend your session to? Like, what age do you think your session would be perfect for?
Again, fairly easy. I would say people who are starting to get into performance rugby.
Right.
So maybe kids aged 9 to 13 maybe. Just starting to get a feel of rugby, starting to utilise these types of passes, or maybe for when they just get up into the bigger league,
Yeah.
Just start learning the better passes and different passes to confuse the opposition.
Fair enough. Is there anything you could do? Is there anything you could think of to improve on your sessions? Right.
Wait.
Where could you do better in your sessions?
It was on this one.
All right. Is there anything you could do to improve your sessions?
Yes. By terms of communication and leadership skills, 100%. Because, again, I didn't show that I was communicating with my participant.
Yeah.
Which I definitely should have done in the first video, because it's very important.
Yeah.
And because I did not, thus meaning that I couldn't show my leadership skills, because I can't communicate with my participant.
Right.
That means I clearly can't lead them to do the session. the exercise correctly.
Right, okay. So we talked about you personally. Where could you improve? Where could you do better?
I could do better around the whole session, really. The whole first session, I could definitely improve. I could definitely improve a lot of things because I didn't feel like it was good enough for me or my participant. It was an easy skill, and it wasn't relatively challenging. I didn't really play challenges in there or anything.
Right.
I pretty much just said, let's try it and see how it goes instead of actually guiding them through it and being a good mentor.
Fair enough.
So definitely leadership. That's my main priority for the second video.
Right, okay.
Observation 2. So, could you have improved your drills
In observation
in
2.
observation 2?
What was my observation 2? Was ball control. No, I thought my second observation was the best, personally, because I put a lot of organisation into it. So I had 4 cones, or 4 dumbbells, and I made like this square.
Right.
And the participant had the ball in his hands, and he had to chuck the ball up in the air and control it and keep it in the box. So every time he do that, it'd be 1 point. He had 10 attempts, and I, again, have to calculate his score and then see how well he done at the end of the session.
Yeah.
But I thought that was the best way to show if the participant is doing good or not.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in this session, did you think your communication improved?
Oh yeah, massively. I thought my communication was much better because, again, I started to enjoy it. I started to see the person was enjoying, which brought a massive boost to my confidence. Because when your participant's enjoying, you start to enjoy each other's company then.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a massive difference.
You start to understand each other.
Yeah, you start to understand each other.
Right. Oh my, that's fine. So, your main priority in that session was ball control, right?
Yeah.
So, did you say you achieved the goal of getting your participant to control the ball well then? For the session?
Yeah, I thought, well, while I was watching him and while I look back at the video as well, you could see there was improvement by the end of each session. You could see that he was, say, getting 5 out of 10 points at the first drill, and then he was improving.
Yeah.
Which was a nice thing to see because you were doing this personally, and you are improving your participant, and I thought that was a really good way to show that participant that he can improve himself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So kind of like learning together.
Yeah.
I think.
You could say that, yeah.
So you're about improving your skills, improving the participant skills, also more importantly. But how could you improve? The whole session. How could you improve? Could you improve anything?
How would I improve? Probably to improve, I probably could have went down the field.
Yeah.
Because in my garden, and it was a bit of a small space, and this was behind the scenes now, but because I edited this out because I didn't want to show them that it's just a waste of a turn, I wanted to give the participant a better chance, but every time you threw the ball, it was quite windy that day as well, so the ball would just fly over and then it'd go to the next door neighbour's garden, so we had to keep going back and forth there. I think it happened 3 or 4 times, whereas we could have went down a field and done it there without wasting time on getting the ball from the garden, which was, I thought, could have been a massive improvement, but we done what we could with the little space we had.
Yeah.
And I made sure that it was safe for the participant to use, because obviously in a small space you need enough room to do the drills without getting hurt.
Right. So you achieved your goal in getting your participant to improve his ball control, right?
Yeah.
So how would you say the video went as a whole from last time?
Well, from the first...
Yeah, how would you Did you say you improved?
Oh
Would you say
yeah,
it got worse?
massively improvement. I started communicating towards the participant. I started to be the leader more, so my leadership skills were starting to come out. Obviously, I started to get more confident with the drills because I was worried that if the drills weren't good enough, the participant would lose interest. So that was a massive boost that he was interested in what I was doing. And at the end of the session, I gave him a little reward because I thought that the session went really good and we could have put like a couple more minutes into it. And I thought it was just really good, yeah.
Right. So last question on this observation. Who would you recommend this session to? So like,
Grassroots level, definitely, because I don't think my sessions would be good enough for elite because this is like a starter thing. It's not top tier, you know.
Yeah.
But I probably age it around 10 to 15-year-olds because you can improve shooting, you can improve ball control, you can improve dribbling. For my third observation, we'll get on that later though. But that it works for them because you're still improving on your skills and you're developing skills by watching these videos.
yeah.
But yeah, I thought that could be a booster, you know?
Yeah.
Right, we'll talk about your second observation, okay? Yes. How do you think your video went looking back at your first observation?
It was relatively good. Although I can't really elaborate on it that much because totally different skill.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different skill to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was passing the first one, we was kicking on the second one. Whereas the third one we was doing different type of kicking, so I could kind of match those two up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really match this one up to the first one.
Yeah.
But overall, my communication skills, leadership skills, definitely improved. My creativity as well between sessions, between exercises.
Yeah.
Improved. Yeah.
Okay. What strengths in the videos did you see coming from looking back on your first one? Did you see any more strengths through the second observation?
Like I said, my communication and all were strengths compared to the first one, but also my organisation.
Yeah.
Because I was more organised, I was more prepared, really, because I didn't really know what I was expecting for the first session. I just kind of wanted to get it done with, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But this one went longer and I kind of slowed down a bit, just made sure my participant learned something.
Yeah, okay. If you could pick any weaknesses in your second observation, what weaknesses could you pick out?
The length of the session
Right.
was a bit of a weakness because, again, dragging out multiple exercises would have been a better thing to do. But we kind of like kept it in, like, you know what I mean? Like we just kicked it about a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it was good to make sure that your participant learned, but it was also just dragging. Like it was no need to be that long. And if someone was watching it, then I think they would get a bit bored. Really, that's why I tried to make it a bit fun.
Okay. Right. What was your goal in the second observation?
My goal was to improve the participants' kicking. So we would just make sure that he knew how to kick the ball out of his hands, specifically out of his hand kicking, instead of off the floor or whatever, just kicking in general.
Identified your goal in the second observation. Do you think you managed to achieve your goal?
I do. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because my goal was to teach my participant kicking, and whether it was effective or not, and whether they will keep that throughout their lifetime, even if they didn't learn anything from it, I still taught them. And we did them very well. Like I said, if he doesn't keep it with him for the rest of his life, that's his decision, but I made sure he understood, I made sure that he understood the drills, etc. So I did it to the best of my ability, so yes.
Okay.
We did.
Did your session plan achieve the goal? So, you know, when you were organising the session and all that, did it go to plan?
Yes. Sometimes we would drop the ball, but that's the whole thing of the sport.
Mhm.
You know, it's not gonna be perfect, but it worked out. You know.
Yeah.
Sessions were improved from last time because they were a lot more organised, a lot more thought of, to actually be based around that skill. So if the skill was grubbering, we would make sure the drill was good and it was made for grubbering, and not like chipping or anything like that. Just keep it the same skill.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Where could you have done better in, personally you now, where could you have done better in your second observation?
I can probably do better, again, communication. It did improve, but I could also improve it even more just by having it in the video and just talking to my participant, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Explaining more and probably elaborating on what I've already told them. So say like we was learning chipping or like grubbering, I could teach them when they could use that skill. So like put them in the scenario and not just show them the skill.
Okay. Do you think your participant enjoyed the session?
I do.
Yeah.
He was doing it with enthusiasm, and he was doing it really well.
Yeah.
He kept the session plan. He didn't just drift off. He didn't just try and do his own thing. He kept to it, and it worked. So the other observations, we were talking about communication and how it improved.
Right.
For your last observation, would you say that your communication skills were used to the best of your ability, or would you say you just used them the exact same, just did the exact same as last time? Would you say they improved?
I'd say they improved slightly, not massively. From my second observation, my first observation was low. Like I know my communication wasn't very good, but in the second one it improved massively. But in the third one, I thought it improved slightly because it was just normal to us then. We started communicating like as if it was just a normal day, you know?
Yeah.
But obviously we were doing our session and I was encouraging him to do better, for her to do better because she was, I've lost where I was going to go. She obviously didn't play the sport because my other participant, he had an injury. Yeah, we don't need to go into detail with that, but I had to get another participant in, and she didn't have any idea about football, and I made the session specifically for her.
So would you say it was like starting over again?
Technically, yes, but obviously I had the confidence from the two other observations, and I thought I could put this into the third one, and it was fine. But yeah,
right.
I thought it went well.
So would you say that there was anything to improve on other than communication skills? Like your drills, your exercises?
My drills could have done a bit better in the third one, personally, because all we were doing was dribbling in and out the cones. We started off with our strong foot, just your strong foot though, and you got to go in and out the cones and back.
Yeah.
And we had a timer to see what time they were doing it in, and they had 10 attempts, or was it 5 attempts, and they had to improve on that time.
Yeah.
So at the end of each drill, there was 3 drills. At the end of each drill, we could see where she was improving. But then on the second drill, it was like weak foot only. And on the final drill, it was both feet. So both feet need to be the quickest because you've practiced on the 2 opposite ones and hopefully improved on the last drill.
Right. So your goal, what was your goal? Like what was you aiming for this session?
For my participant to develop skills through dribbling.
Dribbling, right, okay. Would you say that they achieved that goal by the end of the session?
Personally, yeah, I do think they achieved some skills, not all of them, because I could have gone more into detail in what drills to do. For example, we could have done better drills than dribbling in and out of the cone. But the reason why you put the cones dribbling in and out and we use them as the opposition, so if the cones were players, you have to dribble in and out them because obviously they're going to tackle you. But I think we could have done a couple more drills on that because I don't think the drills were, I wouldn't say bad, but they weren't up to standard, we can say.
So would you say dribbling is a crucial skill when it comes to football?
Oh yeah, massively. Maybe not for the defence, but the midfield and strikers, you need dribbling because you need to go past defenders to get a shot off on goal. And when you're on a one-on-one situation with a defender, you need to have the advantage because you need to get past him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so how would you say that your videos went?
Well, all of them combined or just the third one?
All of them now. How would you say they all, could you see how well you improved throughout all three of them? Or would you just see like a constant, just the same over and over? Or do you see change?
Oh no, I did see changes. I saw that confidence was coming from both ways, communication was coming from both ways. My leadership started to improve. Organisation, I thought my organisation stayed the same because I thought I kept every session organised. I planned it through for the session plans. I made sure the health and safety precautions were there. I thought it was just okay. I don't think it was amazing, but it was good enough, you know?
Yeah. Would you say that throughout all three sessions, your drills were up to standard? So it matched what they needed to learn?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I made my session plans and I went out and achieved that by doing the drills with them. I may have changed a couple of things from the session plan because obviously there are things to change. Some things don't go to plan, but I thought that it went smoothly.
Yeah.
You know?
So the three observations, which one would you say most impacted you and your participants? So which one would you say they learned most on, or which one do you think they most enjoyed, or which one you most enjoyed?
I personally most enjoyed the second one because I made up my own drills by making a box and the participant holds the ball in his hand and chucks it up in the air and tries to control it.
So you're like more creative?
Yeah, I felt like it was very creative. I felt like the drill went perfectly how I thought it would have went. I thought it went really good.
Right, fab.
So for your third observation, do you think the goal that you tried to achieve, that you achieved it?
Yes. It was quite short and sweet because we was just, I got my participant to do the warm-up, to change it up, see what he's actually learned and see if he's actually taken any notes. And he did, which was what I wanted to achieve. I wanted them to learn. And also as the video went on, we improved more of our on-floor kicking skills. So yeah, it was just totally different in a way, but it was kind of similar. So we did achieve it.
Right, okay. How could you improve your third observation?
I can improve it by putting more drills in, 100%. Like, because all we could really do was, was kick it in between the posts, and we couldn't really do much more on-floor kicking because there is, no point.
Yeah.
And obviously at the time, because of COVID, we couldn't tackle.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't use any tackle bags or anything because it might spread stuff. So we couldn't do tackling as a skill.
Right.
That was the only thing we had left. But if I could have found another skill to do other than on-floor kicking, I would definitely do it.
Okay. What were your strengths throughout the 3 observations? So what do you think that you were good on? Like, what was your strength?
What was a weakness at first was my communication, but definitely ended up as strength.
Right, okay.
Because I would talk them through the drill, and I would also put little sections in the video where I would talk to him and explain what needed to happen throughout the video and what the goal was. So yeah, definitely my communication was a strength in the end, which was first a weakness.
Okay.
It was interesting.
How would you say your videos went altogether? Do you think that they were up to standard? Do you think they could have done better, or do you think they went amazingly?
Altogether, again, I would say from the start, weakness.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really know much, knew what to expect. At the end, it became a strength because I kind of realized what I was doing, what I expected for the participant to do. I expected what I needed myself to do. So, yeah, I, taught him, taught him, and overall the videos throughout went well.
Okay. Do you think your participant enjoyed each session?
Honestly, I would say maybe not the first one, because I don't think they really knew, like, what to expect as well as me.
Right.
But I think they enjoyed it, but just not as much as the other ones, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Because, again, it was just so long just passing the ball, and it could have just moved on to another drill. We didn't really spend that much time on some of the drills. But overall, I think they enjoyed it, because we had like, little mini games as well in the other 2 sessions. So yeah, it was good.
Okay. Big question here. Has your skills improved from your first observation?
So, yes, 100%. My first observation, I kind of knew how to do the skill. I knew more about it, but I didn't really know much about kicking.
Yeah.
I wasn't the best kicker, obviously, but I was kind of learning with my participant as well as learning myself, because I'm a prop forward, I don't really kick, but I found out I'm not that bad at it. So it's a new skill that I could kind of like put in my arsenal for next time. But yeah, we definitely improved together, and then I improved myself.
Okay.
Such as communication skills too.
Who would you recommend your 3 sessions to?
I would recommend my 3 sessions to people going into performance level.
Yeah.
These aren't really grassroots. Grassroots is more like having a tennis ball or just a ball and throwing it at people. But this is more hand-on, real skills that you need to learn before you go into an actual game of rugby, which is what I want to prepare my participant for. So if they ever do go to rugby, they can show their teammates up or show the opposition up with the skills I taught them.
Okay. And for our final question, could you improve the drills that you set?
From the first to last, first 100%.
Yeah.
And last as well, because I wasn't really organised. Again, last skill was not much I knew about, because we couldn't do tackling. I knew more about tackling than I did of off-floor kicking. But yeah, I was way more organised in session 2 personally, but sessions 1 and 3, I think I kind of lost it and just went with the flow, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't much to do.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jake.